Hello everyone, Aimel is here. Man, we are at the semifinals of the P4G already. It went so fast. We're just this is the you just realize this. Next week will be the final, well, the finals basically. But yeah, it will be the final analyst work I will do here. But I will say this now, it has been quite a pleasure to do these. Of, I maybe don't think I will continue them. It was nice to try out to do analyst content. It does require a lot of work, and I am saying this, but I definitely took it very easy compared to others that did before me. But I am glad that I still went for it. You guys still liked it. So let's enjoy the few time we have left by doing the analysis for the semifinals for this week. So just before tomorrow. So to start things off, we have the Uzi Gunner versus Ellie, which are, well, the two people remaining in the most middle of the standings. So they're gonna be fought against each other as a rematch from last time. I think I remember Uzi, Ellie having a team different from previous, I believe. Like I should remember this. I did, I did give him, but that's beside the point. They're fighting again. So, what do I think looked pretty good here compared to last time? Well, actually, I was right. Ellie's team has changed since then, right? So it's completely new. She has new Pokemon to use versus Uzi. But yeah, so let's get started. So first, well, let's say Ellie's side, because technically it's just a decision. Do we think she brings weather here or not? If she does, that's gonna be very complicated because Slowking is a very annoying Pokemon for Politoed, since Politoed does no damage to Slowking back normally. I believe like the best way for Politoed to hit Slowking is with Belly Drum Teeth, which doesn't even KO Fizz Def Slowking, which is sad, unless Politoed goes for a boosting item, which is the definition of risky and gimmicky. Or you can use Hypnosis to put Slowking to sleep, but that's assuming you land Hypnosis, of course. And then what? What are you gonna do to it? You do nothing to it by yourself, which is a bit sad. So this might not be a rain, like a rain strat we're gonna see here. So with that in mind, of course, the Lucario is a pretty strong threat. Its priority is very strong, especially against Uzi's faster Pokemon, which all of them but Dashbon are frail. So like Hunter doesn't appreciate Bullet Punch, Delphi doesn't appreciate Extreme Speed. It could also run like a move to Hoki Doki, like Earthquake or Psychic. Like it could be mixed, like primarily a special attacker, but it has physical priority to finish off Uzi's faster Pokemons. I could see that. So Lucario, yeah, absolutely pretty strong. Then beside that, if I know I said Rain isn't that good, but honestly, Floatzel is still pretty good, even outside of Rain. Like a bulk up set, like because again, Uzi's Weather Resist or Dark weak, so Floatzel with Stab plus Crunch can still put a lot of pressure on Uzi if he doesn't play Ironic correctly. So also, it's faster than everything but Kilowatt Roll, and again, it can use Aqua Jet for priority to pick off Uzi's when these Pokemon are weakened enough. Whimsicott, normally support, but offensively it's not terrible here. It's Uzi's best physical special tank is Slowking, so it's weak to Whimsicott's Grass Stab. There's a Delphox that resists both its stab, but if it's offensive, you can run Shadow Ball to hit it for super effective damage. Which, even if you don't KO, it's still great, because that means you put it in range for your Lucario's priority to KO it. And also, you can also be infiltrated Whimsicott to bypass Grimmsnarl screens potentially if you don't value Prankster for any Prankster move. Like if you don't think you need like Prankster Memento or anything else. Like if Ellie were to bring, I mean, she could still bring a Jolteon, because again, if Uzi wants to override Rain in technicality, it would bring Chilly Reception Slowking, which would give Jolteon Weather Ball Ice, which gives it the Bolt Beam combo, which hits Uzi's team very hard. So even if there's no rain, Slowking might want to pivot out, or it really has to hold back on Chilly Reception. So you could play around that to make sure you don't get hit too hard by the Jolteon. Then beside that, do I think Flygon is decent? Yeah, you can tell I'm going more deep in the analysis. There's only 2 matchup, and then just wait until we reach the final. There'll be only 1 left. But yeah, as far as Horterra Captain goes, both Cacturne and Clawitzer are valuable in my opinion. Yeah, if I remember, yeah, Cacturne can be Dark, Fairy, or Poison. Like, it could be Poison to resist Okidogi's stab, which will force it to either wait before Hyros Power or just predict with Hyros Power immediately. Or Second Fang, whatever coverage move. I think Hyros Power more. But yeah. Because, I mean, it does learn Zen Headbutt, so if you get the play right with Okidogi, you can do that. Also, one thing else you can also do is that because you can, if you do in fact bring Rain with Politoed, you could force Slowking with Politoed and then just hard swap Cacturne, because Cacturne gets the jump on Slowking, which is amazing for Ellie, and gets a powerful knockoff going. Like maybe also Cacturne learns Trailblaze. Maybe we could see like some Trailblaze set up to be faster than every. I mean, you're gonna need another Trailblaze to be faster than everything, but you get the idea. Cacturne hits hard if you do in fact get it on the Slowking. And beside that, we did saw it in their real match from I remember, but Clawitzer has the potential to be a threat. For the same reason as Float Soul, offensively at least, with the Water Stab, but then you use a Dark move for Uzi's Weather Resist. You are slower, but you are a little bit tankier, so you can at least take a hit and trade. Yeah. So that's the Clawitzer. Qwilfish could be used as a Spiker plus Taunt user to prevent Sandaconda from going for rocks, like early game. Also preventing Glare potentially. And also it's pretty decent into the Grimmsnarl, like it takes neutral from Fairy, resists Dark, and then you have your poison moves that are super effective on it. It's just the Sand Slash as the Steel type, or you know, Okidogi as the Poison type, which is annoying, but at least Qwilfish can set up some Spike just around. But yeah, so if I were Ellie, yeah, I would try the Lucario plus Double Water and Float Soul and Clawitzer. I like the offensive Whimsicott. And then I think last 2 I will go Qwilfish for the Spike. And I guess I could go Jolteon. I didn't mention Moltres, but probably Moltres. It could be irritating if you go like bulky Moltres to pivot out to bringing your threat. Yeah, I think I like this. Alright, now on to Uzi after this. Well, Okidogi does hit pretty hard. You do have to be worried about Moltres' Flame Body in a way. And also your speed tier on Oki is a little bit it's not good, base 80, because you're slower than all of Lucario, Flygon, Whimsicott, which it can hit you for super effective unless you run Scarf. But Scarf leaves you potentially vulnerable to Moltres if you don't run Gunk Shot. And that's assuming you get the Gunshot play right and it don't force Lucario after. But Scarf can still be good. Absolutely good. Again, if basic speed, if you keep it healthy enough, you survive Lucario's priority. You can just hit it back with close combat. Same deal with the Float Soul. It's Aqua Jet. I still do think Slowking is needed. After all, it is the best water resist he has versus both Float Soul and Clawitzer. You do have to be careful with its HP to not let it get overwhelmed too much by their dark coverage. Or even also be careful with Chili Reception if Jolteon is in, because you don't want your standard combat to suddenly be a potential victim of Jolteon. Also worth to mention that Senaconda has Sand Spit, so if you're tanky enough to even survive a Weather Ball, or at least if you can draw a coverage move that Senaconda can take nicely, Sand Spit will activate, and then Weather Ball will become Rock type. So in an emergency situation, you could do that if you know you're gonna survive the hit. Like if it's not like Choice Spec or like a Combine boosted Jolteon, you could do that. Grinsnarl, I think Grinsnarl is better with Screen there. Like to just, like to do what Screen does, to just weaken the damage overall. Maybe not Parting Shot because you're already letting Quillfish in more easily. So it's very annoying for you to get Parting Shot out. Unless you go without Prankster, but that's like going against what Grinsnarl do, so you won't Prankster. Also, yeah, Kilowattrol. I guess that's another reason why Ellie should be careful if she brings Rainer, because Kilowattrol is a big threat in Rain itself. Sure, there's a Jolteon as the electric type, which has okay special bulk, but it's still very uncomfortable taking powerful flying type attacks from Kilowattrol. Like, it could get overwhelmed if it's not careful itself. Then, something I also remember, Ellie's normal resist is Lucario, which is, frail. So the Dunsparce offensively, it might be slow, but if it gets a Boom Burst off, it will be a powerful Boom Burst. That's also assuming that he is careful if he doesn't go against a Throat Chop Quillfish. Because Throat Chop, it blocks some moves, so you just have to be careful with that. Of course, you could be physical with Hyper Drill in a way. Then you can just you Hyper Drill first. If you get burned by Moltres, then you run Facade. That's another angle as well. Especially if you go because you go physical with these moves, you could go Rattle. So if Quillfish try to get the Intimidate off, you get Rattle Speed Boost, which you're gonna hit less harder, but that's a tech you could see. Like in case it's speedy Quillfish, you can just have the speed then to fight it back. Delphox, I mean, assuming there's no rain, of course its dual stab is pretty strong. There's no Pokemon on Ellie's team that resist both at the same time. Plus, its speed tier is okay, and it can take a hit from Whimsicott. But again, it has to be careful with its health, but it could, in fact, be a threat. Like I said, Senaconda, because it could be good into Jolteon as long as there's no weather for the Weather Ball. Technically, you could set Decidueye, assuming if you're committed to not Chili out. But you just have to be okay to taking Shadow Ball from Jolteon. And besides that, it doesn't do very well against anything else. I guess you can at least turn around. So at least you're not walled by Farigiraf if it goes Sap Sipper. Nor walled by Sweet and Quillfish. But I don't think it's very good here. It will just be a momentum bot. And I feel like its typing is not even that great here. At least looking as regen, Decidueye just gets nuked way too easily by Ellie's water types. Not named Politoed, of course. I don't think Sand Slash is that great either. I don't think it's strong enough. Even though Triple SO could be a decent move, assuming it's not into Moltres' burns. If you're worried about that, then it'll be Icicle Crash. Its Ice Shark can be good for Flygon, but that's about it. I don't think it's good for anything else besides that. And then as for Terra, Dash Brown could be used. It is immune to Moltres' fire move, which forces it to land a flying move to hit it. So either Air Slash, which is weaker but still plenty strong coming from a Moltres, or Hurricane, which can miss unless it's in rain. And it's Body Press because, like I said, her normal resist is Lucario, so she has no Ghost type. I mean, she has fighting resist in the form of Whimsicott, Moltres, and then a Terra Cacturn. That is, if it's not Terra Dark, of course. But yeah, we could maybe see some Dash Bond if it plays correctly. or if you're like not worried about Moltres at all, which will be a little bit gutsy to think about it. And then Hunter, it is strong. Again, there's the deal with Isubi and Coolfish, because at best you just hit it for about neutral if you Terra into one of your type or fighting. But I could see it, especially if you really think Lucario is gonna be extreme speed more over Bullet Punch. But I do think Bullet Punch is a little bit. I mean, both E-Speed and Bullet Punch as they're up and down, depending on which target Ellie wants to prioritize more. But yeah, if I were Uzi, I would like to have the Okidogi, the Slowking. Okay, yeah, so yeah, top 4. So we've Grim Snarl and Kilowattrel. Also, the Dunsparce, absolutely. And I think last I would go Sandaconda, which is pretty. It's tanky enough. It is good for Jolteon. Well, no, yeah, I'll still go Sandaconda on this. Yeah, so yeah, this matchup, in my opinion, is quite close. I do see some good positive for Uzi, but I also see the same for Ellie. Like if Uzi either plays the Dunsparce correctly, or if Ellie uses her water types correctly, they can both win against each other. So yeah, that's an absolutely great match to have for a semifinal. One that is very close. Both sides having strong Pokemon against the other. Yeah, that's gonna be a good match to see. So where's my mouse? Okay, it's there. So that should be perfect. Now, the second matchup, which happened to be another rematch, which also, funnily enough, no matter who wins in these semifinals, like no matter what, the finals will be a rematch, because you know Uzi fought both Joey and Seabad, and same goes with Ellie, so it will be it's 2 rematches for semis and then a rematch for the finals. Yeah, okay. So we can all see some. Well, we already seen these matches in a way, but it's fine. It is okay. So first off, Joey versus Seabad. They fought in week 7, and Seabad won. So now Joey wants some revenge, or is Seabad will be able to topple Joey? After all, he did took down Sharkle, which was undefeated and the number 1 seed. So will he do the same with his number 2 seed? He did beat him before, but it's his playoff. Anything can happen. Alright. On Seabad's side, because I'm gonna start with him. At first glance, Overcool does look pretty good. It resists Pecharon's dual stab, can hit it for super effective damage with its dark stab, of course, like Crunch or Throat Chopped. I'm thinking, I mean, you could make a case for Throat Chop, because you could use it versus Incineroar, which blocks a parting shot if you're worried about like a pivoting bear. I mean, not really if you think about it, because on one hand you have an Empoleon that gets boosted from parting shot, and then you have a DNC, so you could make the case for Crunch more because you're not too worried about parting shot. Plus, potential defense drop on anything not named Registeel could be clutch. Of course, you have your Poison Stab to follow up as well. And then, depending on what you want your Overcool to do, you can like either lay down some spikes, maybe get a Sword Dance off, maybe get some Toxic Spikes going, because after all, you do switch into Pecharunt. So you could pressure Pecha in that way. I could see that. Then, for Empoleon, it does take hits from Pecharunt pretty well, assuming it's not like physical with Poltergeist. We did saw him running offensive physical Empoleon versus Joey, which I didn't thought it would be brought versus the likes of. I mean, it was a pretty well brought set in the end. I'm not saying it was bad. He was able to make it work. But I think this time just special is fine. Like Surf and Roost. I do like to Chopple to take a hit from Heracross. And then like what you have like Ice Beam for his dragons. You could have Air Slash to hit Heracross specifically. You could have Yawn to just force switches. You got Flip Turn. little combo that I like is Whirlpool plus Yawn, because you trap them with Whirlpool, then you yawn, and then they're stuck. They have to stay, so you can just put them to sleep to just then bring in something for free and just set up. Which is a big commitment for an Empoleon, but one that can be rewarding if you trap the right thing. Then, as for a Monkey Dory, I mean, Monkey Dory does look a threat. It's just that it has to use Focus Blast to bypass Registeel, unless you use like U-turn to just force in something to force it and then go something else. Or like Trick. Honestly, Trick Black Slush ain't terrible at all. You can use Black Slush to heal a little bit early, then you Trick Registeel, which is gonna lose HP every turn. And then you might get leftovers anyways. Also, Pecharon doesn't want to do anything near Monkey Dory. That could be a fun set. And one that could be effective because again, Registeel is pretty likely to go into Monkey Dory. Or I guess Incineroar as well, which would be another target that would be nice to receive Black Slush because you remove potential boosts so he gets prone to hazards. Honestly, I like this set. Then, I think Gastrodon is a must because again, Regieleki, we saw Joey wasn't afraid to run Eleki against even strong ground types. So you want the Gastrodon, which could lay down hazards, or you can do the bit of Empoleon with Yawn, while also being kept healthy with Recover, of course. Alright, I mean, DNC isn't terrible per se. It could be very strong, especially like its stab plus body press is a big threat. Like use Diamond Storm if you get a defense boost, then you can just do big damage to Registeel with body press or anything else, while using Moonblast to hit like the likes of Quag. I guess Quag is the one annoyance for DNC if it's like EV correctly, but that's like just Quag, so I think you're fine. Talonflame is still a threat. It outspeeds everything but Regieleki. It does hit them pretty hard. It's really just Cloth that takes its hit, that can take its hit, or like Intimidate Incineroar. But like, if you're able to predict on the Cloth with a Will-O-Wisp, that'll be devastating for the Cloth. Then I think Virizion is meh here because again, there's a Pecharon, a Noivern, a Ribombee, so you're pretty. So like, I mean, just Pecharon alone is annoyance. Like you don't break Pecharon at all. Like your best bet is like needing some future sight support with Monkey Dory. So like, well, you can just force something out. Bear Ursaring, yeah, pretty good. I don't think it's a sweeper at all, but I think it can definitely take a hit and dish big damage back versus anything really. Also, you could technically make it use against Pecharon. It does have guts, and its best way to hit you is poison moves, so you can get poisoned by it. As long as you don't get confused, you get the damage boost versus Pecha. So like, to do bigger damage with Earthquake or Shadow Claw if you don't want to use Earthquake and just get sent into a flying type or something. Drifloon is annoyed by Incineroar, but depending if Incineroar got weakened by Monkey Dory, it could work because it gets then open up. That's something I could see as well, like Monkey Dory opening up Drifloon by weakening Registeel and Incineroar. That could be deadly because then without this guy in the back, Drifloon can run wild with an unburdened set. Preferably a special attacker so you can use, you know, like Shadow Ball and maybe another move. Like, yeah, I would say Air Slash because at least you don't get Intimidate down, plus Air Slash flinches could be a win con. Servine, I don't think is very good. Even if you go like Terra, I guess hit spamming, spreading Glare can be very annoying because again, the Pokemon that are very good against Servine offensively are Pokemon that gets ruined by Glare. So that could be something to be kept in mind. And then last, well, Doogie, yeah. It is pretty strong. It ties Inteleon at best. I would say it's a little bit hard to use, but it can do some good damage nonetheless. Damn, I was able to go over every one of Seabass Pokemon. Pretty funny. I mean, technically they all have a place if use like alongside the other right months. And then as for Joey, obviously despite Overcool and Empoleon, I still think Pecharon is a must. Like, it can still be strong. Like, it's so physically bulky. It just takes hit from Overcool very easily. Like, Overcool really needs Swords Dance to break through Pecharons. It just goes to tell you how strong Pecha is. Though I do have to keep in mind moves like Taunt to prevent it from ever be able to heal or set up with Nasty Plot. But if you did get a Nasty Plot on the Switch, Malignant will actually hit Overkill pretty hard if it's not like bulky or Assault Vest. Then I still think Incineroar is good here. Its typing is good. I think offensively is better. You need to be your stab plus Iron Head to nail the DNC. You just need like some chip on like Empo and Gastrodon. Plus, you have a Pokemon that is naturally good versus Drill Blame. And if Monkey Dory is choice, you do blank Psychic. You just have to be careful to not get Trick. Or at least keep the Trick in mind. Which in that case, you also have Registeel in a way for the Monkey Dory. Which again, there are those tags I just mentioned with it, but it's still strong nonetheless. It does provide Rock. It can have a decently good body press if there's no Drift Blim. Then, beside that, I think Heracross can be decent as well. There's 4 Pokemon faster than it, plus Overcool that ties. But it can still be a threat, like if Seabat doesn't swap into the right Pokemon, because I guess that's similar to Virizion in a way, but except this time there's not like a true hard wall for Heracross to deal with. It's just a matter of getting the right move off if he chose to run a Heracross. I don't really like Noivern here. There's still a DNC, there's still an Empoleon. You could try to annoy them with like how you use it previously with like Super Fang plus Psychic Noise, but I don't think it's that great. Unless you really go for a plan of like just overwhelming Empoleon or DNC. I don't think it's a matchup for Inteleon anymore. We did saw the Forbidden set that week, but I don't think it's gonna work again. So I think it's best to leave Inteleon on the bench. I mean, Ribombee can be decent. Again, there's Empoleon that is annoying, especially if like Moonblast, but then you get a drop, so you just activate competitive. That could be annoying. But I guess you could do something similar, like you run like a Sticky Barb plus Trick, but you're gonna have to do this very early because unlike Monkey Dory with Black Slush, you get damage from Sticky Barb. That's like one set only, so I guess besides that, it's mediocre here. Also, it's not good into Talonflame. I don't think Web is good either. So maybe it's not a bring. But however, the good stuff here I would say is that Flapple. Seabat's Fairy type is part of Rock, so it's weak to Grass. Seabat's Steel type is part of Water, so it's neutral to Grass. Meaning that there's not a single Pokemon on Seabat's team that resists the combination of Grass and Dragon. So offensive Flapple that use Dragon Dance to boost its speed could make quick work of Seabat if not play around correctly. There are some things to look out for though. Like if you use Gravapple but you don't kill one of Empoleon or Servine, you get their ability fire back against you. But I guess if you're too worried about that, you could go see Bomb Flapple, because if you think about it, they have the same base power. It's just that Gravapple is the better move for the guaranteed defense drop. But if you don't want that defense drop, you can just go Sit Bomb anyway. For the Dragon move, I believe you would go for Terra Blast Dragon. It is one of Joey's Terra type on Flapple, because Flapple's other Dragon move are inaccurate. The inaccurate Dragon Rush, or the you are forced to using it Outrage. So I think Terra Blast is a much better move despite the weaker power, because there's no drawback into clicking the move. And even though I do think Flapple is the better Terra user, also 1 second, I think my music is running out. 1 second. There we go. So yeah, even though I do think Flapple is the better Terra, I think Cloth still has a place. Like offensively with Anchor Shell, it could be very strong. Like it doesn't need to Terra, like to have the coverage. Like you can just run like Rock Ground plus Trailblaze, and you're gonna hit very hard everything. I mean Virizion resists all three, but I don't think Virizion is that good anyway here. So I think you're good. Yeah. So if I were Joey, I would run the Pecharunt, the Incineroar, the Registeel, the Flapple, the Cloth, and I think last I would go with one of Heracross for damage or Regieleki. We did saw Joey running Regieleki a lot despite the ground types like I mentioned earlier. But it could at least provide some spin for the team. Also, you can just also force Gastrodon, which would be amazing for Flapple. Plus, it can set up dual screen for Flapple to let it set up more easily. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean Regieleki for the screens, forcing Gastrodon to get Flapple set up by scaring off Gastrodon. And again, I don't think there's a clear winner here. Both sides are frightening to the other. So, yeah, on that, those were the two matchups for the semifinals. Yeah, I hope you guys are excited because we're so close to the end of the season. After all, this season has been great. Maybe there were a few bumps, like maybe like nothing too major, of course, just just standard draft. But beside those, it was still a good season, in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Again, I enjoyed making these videos myself. And on that, I will talk to you guys next week for the finals. Yeah, the final analytic work for the finals of the P4G. See you guys. Well, next week, like I said, bye bye everybody. Intro Man 101 Aimel here.